In 2024, the U.S. defense budget reached over $800 billion. That is the scale of capital the Pentagon deploys in a single year. For decades, that spending has been largely controlled by a small group of legacy monopolies. These companies operate within a bureaucratic framework that has changed very little since World War II. They rely on slow, administrative processes that favor established timelines over rapid innovation. The result is a cycle where systems take over a decade to reach the field. Because of this pace, the hardware is often already outdated by the time it is actually deployed. The F-35 fighter jet is the most visible example of this friction. It's a trillion-dollar project facing consistent criticism for relying on software architecture that lagged behind modern standards before entering full service. While the tech world spent years optimizing consumer apps, a massive, stagnant market was left open for anyone willing to challenge the old guard. In 2012, Palmer Luckey was 19 years old and engineering VR prototypes in his parents' garage. He was building hardware at a time when the rest of the tech industry had largely dismissed virtual reality as a dead end. His work triggered a $2.5 million Kickstarter campaign, catching the attention of major Silicon Valley venture capitalists who began backing his vision. 2 years later, Mark Zuckerberg met with Luckey, and Facebook acquired his startup for $2 billion. Luckey was just 21 years old. But the relationship soured in 2017. Following a political donation that became public, Facebook fired Luckey and locked him out of the company he founded, providing no formal reason for his departure. This exclusion didn't mark the end of his career. Instead, it served as the research period for a second, more ambitious venture. To understand Luckey's next move, look at the cost-plus model used by legacy contractors. In this system, the government pays the companies upfront to develop technology, meaning the contractor carries very little financial risk. This chart shows a typical defense contract, a large initial payment, followed by a 12-year timeline where costs balloon into overruns. Anduril flipped this logic. They use private capital to build products first, only asking for payment once hardware is proven. When the military is shown battle-tested hardware that is ready for immediate use, the traditional lobbying power of the old guard begins to lose its relevance. Real disruption occurs by changing the rules of how capital flows, forcing competitors to deliver results instead of managing budgets. The core of Anduril's technology is an AI-powered software platform called Lattice. It functions as an autonomous operating system for modern defense operations. Lattice takes live data from drones, sensors, and satellites, processing this telemetry in real time to track targets with minimal human input. This software-first approach contrasts with legacy firms like Lockheed Martin, who often focus on static hardware that is difficult to update once deployed. Anduril uses Silicon Valley engineering cycles to push updates constantly. This allows their autonomous systems to adapt and respond to threats with a speed that changes the mechanics of the field. Software that iterates every month will consistently outpace hardware that takes a decade to refine. By 2023, Anduril had secured contracts across the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Special Operations Command, proving that a private funding model could succeed at the Pentagon. The company is now valued at $14 billion. They reached this scale by winning market share in aerospace programs that were once considered the exclusive territory of legacy giants. There is a clear irony in the fact that the same tech ecosystem that once excluded Luckey is now watching him succeed in a sector they were hesitant to enter. Significant wealth is often found in the essential, high-value markets that other experts choose to avoid. Luckey's path demonstrates that success often follows those who look where the competition isn't. While others fight over crowded apps, he looked for the gaps in a stagnant industry. His rise also shows the value in changing the financial logic of an industry, rather than just the product. By absorbing the risk, he changed the relationship with the customer. And finally, his story illustrates how a professional crisis can serve as a redirect, where a major setback forces a more effective path. To challenge an established guard, you stop asking for permission and build solutions that the market has no choice but to recognize. Look at the industries around you today. Which one is outdated and ready for a new model? Tell us your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more strategic analysis.